Today we're going to take a look at some of the backstory behind Potata Furry Flower and how the team came up with the final character design. We will also review the PS4 version of the game, so sit back, relax, and let's see if this is a hidden gem or if it should be buried deep in the furry forest. Let's find out. Potata is the story of a young witch and her adventures through the furry forest. How did they settle on the final design, I hear you ask? Well, the developers were kind enough to share that story with us on their Steam page, and here are some of the original designs that our leading lady had. As you can see, they had multiple options, all which looked good in paper, but they had to test them out in game. And when they did, they noticed some small issues, like the character was too compressed in proportions, and because of this, the animation was poorly read. As you can see, next up on the drawing board were these three options. The first one was scrapped for being too cute, along with tightness of proportions again. The third was too detailed for the size that she would appear on the screen, meaning the black cat wouldn't be visible, for example. So they moved forward with option 2. Great, right? Well, no. Because it wasn't long before the creator realised that their character was too similar to this one from Mystic Belle. Back to the drawing board again, and this was the final design of the character. They were truly happy with how it turned out and moved forward with development. I know what you're thinking, but that's not who was in the gameplay you showed at the start, and you'd be 100% right, because after sharing their final design with YouTube, they had feedback that, let's just say, wasn't glowing with positivity. But they didn't want to compromise completely with their artistic vision, but they also knew that they had to cater to the audience as well. It is the audience who's going to be buying the game after all. So, a few more iterations came before finally settling on the design we see now. So what about the game itself? Let's check it out. The game starts you off at home with your pearly pet fox, Foxy. It's up to you to scour the forest in order to find the ingredients your mom needs to make a potion to make the fox feel better. Along the way you're met with puzzles, deadly spiders, giant spikes, floor traps, death pits, and other nasty surprises to hinder your progress. You'll also encounter Luna, whose sole purpose in the game seems to be to take your blue tokens. It's as much of a puzzle game as it is a platformer. You'll have mini games like this to solve, along with small nuances like knowing that you have to plant a seed here in order to make a platform to jump off. There was no tutorial for this. The game starts you off gradually, learning tricks and given some platforming to teach you what everything does. You see these blue mushrooms, for example, they allow you to bounce up high. Holding X will make you jump a little further over gaps, and when you collect items they appear across the top of your screen. To access this key, for example, press triangle to select it and X to use it. Boom! Chest now opened. You collect these food items as well, which will come in handy if you have an angry enemy to pass. The platforming isn't too difficult and you feel like you'll be able to beat the game in no time. Well, you're lulled into a false sense of security because the first boss comes out of nowhere and killed me more than once. Well, I say boss fight, but it isn't really. It's more of a furry being mad at you and trying to take you out with flying spike balls. Once you learn the pattern, it's a breeze, and you can finally get into the action with a weapon to attack with. Be sure you don't dilly-dally on these flowers, because they don't stay stable for long. The music and visuals have a very calming effect, and I soon found myself lost in the world they created. It looks like it could be an asset straight from an animated movie. Oh no, that's not what I meant. So I was half expecting to be shooting a bow and arrow right from the start. As you've seen before, the character went through many iterations and I think the final one is my favourite. I was genuinely surprised by this game. When I first seen it, I thought it looked great and I had to check it out. But when I first booted it up and was greeted with a lot of dialogue, I was worried I wouldn't enjoy it. 10 minutes into the game though and I was hooked. Its music, art style and good platforming, I found it to be very relaxing and complemented each other very well. I was glued to the game for an hour or two on my first playthrough. Obviously I didn't complete it at this stage, but you should get between 2 to 4 hours of gameplay depending on your skill level. It doesn't throw you in at the deep end, so the difficulty progresses naturally, adding a new obstacle at a time that you'll encounter throughout, making more difficult jumps and having to be more strategic with your moves. Some of the puzzles I found difficult, but with some time they're all beatable. It helps when you use these hints. The checkpoint system is great as well. On your first pass through of a section, you will be saved automatically. But be warned, if you're backtracking, which you will be, make sure you use your tokens to save, otherwise you'll have to go all the way back to where the last autosave was. I did experience 2 glitches on my playthrough. There was slight slowdown here, and once I died at this section, the clouds that were moving up and down just stayed stationary. Other than that though, I didn't experience any issues. As I said, some of the puzzles are a little daunting, but look around and you might find some subtle hints in order to solve them. These 4 flowers look very interesting. It's these small touches that don't hold your hand for puzzle solving that make this a great game to explore. If you want a few hours of relaxing gameplay along with some fun puzzle solving elements, then this is well worth checking out. For me, I give it a very solid 8 out of 10. I'd like to thank the publisher for sending me the code for review. If you want to check this game out for yourself, I'll leave the links in the description below. Is this a game you're interested in picking up for yourself? Are there similar games I should be on the lookout for? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, happy gaming.